All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for joining us for the first Jetcoin.
The recording has
call
started.
Over here. I tell you what an unbelievable last 7 days, I should say, over here with Jetcoin. It's just exploded out of the gate, and everybody's super excited. Myself and Scott back in 2009 had a chance to buy Bitcoin for a dime in 2009. We both could have bought $3,000 worth of Bitcoin, and we just didn't understand cryptocurrency. And instead, we went and invested into Iraqi dinar and spent $15,000 a piece on Iraqi dinar. And if we had bought $3,000 worth at a dime a piece back in 2009, that would have been 30,000 shares. And Scott and myself, we laugh about it now because that was probably one of the biggest mistakes we ever made in our lifetime. But one thing we always tell everybody, we will not miss the boat the second time around. And that's why over the past 7-8 years, we kept a close eye on Bitcoin. We watched it go up. We watched it go down, watched it come back. A good friend of ours back about a year ago called Scott and myself up. He said, you guys got to find a way to start earning some Bitcoin. Not buy it. You got to find a way to start earning it because by the end of 2016, Bitcoin's going to hit $1,000 a coin. And so Scott and myself started, watching closely. And in December, we saw some programs starting to pop up. And we started popping into a few of them. We joined several different companies out there, testing the waters, looking at different companies, different compensation plans, looking at the back ends, looking and seeing how the programs work. And we finally found ourselves a program that you're going to hear about tonight, guys. We've never seen anything like it because there's never been anything like this. This is the fastest moving machine I've ever seen. And I tell you what, Scott, Bitcoin right now is sitting about $2,300, just a little bit more than that, I think, right now. But as the experts are saying, the next couple of years, we've got a window right now between now and 2019 before Bitcoin hits $20,000 a coin. We got a 2-year window right here, we believe, to gather as much Bitcoin as we can gather, guys. Because once it hits that 20,000 mark, it's going straight to the moon. So that's why we get on these calls right here. We like to educate and train people about what Bitcoin is. That's what we believe. Scott, myself, through the years, we've built to the top of 3 different companies and been at the top of 3 different companies, top money earners, for a reason. We like to build belly to belly, face to face. We aren't button pushers. We build. We love building relationships with people. That's what you're going to find out about Scott Chandler, my partner out of Alabama, and myself right here. So, Scott, I know you're fired up. It's just been a crazy last 72 hours. I'm going to bring my partner on, Scott Chandler from Alabama. Jump over here and just tell everybody why you're so fired up and a little bit what we have our hands on here.
You better believe it, man. The last 6 months, it seems like 6 years on the one hand, with all the information we've been able to take in and gather on Bitcoin. For folks that don't know much about Bitcoin, it is a digital currency. It's decentralized, which means the banks and the governments do not own it or don't control it. And the cool thing for us is we are our own personal banks. And as Brent mentioned, Bitcoin has gone from 10 cents, it's gone all the way up to $2,300 now. And the experts are saying it should hit $10,000 this year. We watched it go up about $1,200 in the last 5 weeks. And the reason we have is because more and more countries and more people are starting to take notice. The entire country of Japan, as of May the 1st, literally just made Bitcoin a spendable currency, and over 260,000 businesses jumped on the bandwagon over there. And it doesn't matter if you go over and want to go out to eat, buy a purse, go get your shoes here, whatever. You can pull your phone out and literally pay any of these vendors over there with Bitcoin. Pretty powerful. Well, guess what? Australia's jumped on board in July. Russia's about to jump on board. 4 or 5 other countries are already saying they are going to do the same thing. The last 5 weeks, Bitcoin has gone up more than double because of one country. Guys, hold on to your bootstraps. Like Brent said, as it continues to go up, you're going to want to be able to accumulate as much as you can. The cool thing about Bitcoin, though, we can all spend it and we can all use it anywhere we live in any country. We can get a Visa card through BitPay or a variety of other companies that are, and we can roll Bitcoin directly to our card, and we can spend it anywhere. As a matter of fact, we can pull up to $3,500 cash directly off the card, which is pretty powerful. The reason we like to tell people these things is because sometimes the question is, well, if I get some Bitcoin, how can I spend it? Well, you know what? You can even roll it into your checking account if you've got a checking account. So there's a variety of ways. If you've got a smartphone, and you just download the app, You walk up to your phone now, guys, not only at vendors that accept Bitcoin, but how about a Bitcoin ATM machine? Simply hold your phone down, and if you got the available balance in your phone, it'll just spit the $100 bills out to you right and left. Talking to one of the buddies out there in Texas earlier, and he's got a location that he goes to, and he shows people. He says, "Watch this." He sticks his phone over there, enters $500, and boom, $500 comes out, and these people are blown away. So it's exciting to see that. Over the last 6 months, myself have been both proactive and we've also been passive in about 6 different Bitcoin companies. We've actually purchased a variety of different cryptocurrencies ourselves for our own personal savings and future investments. One of the companies that though got our attention was a company that many of you have been involved with over the last few weeks. In the last 6 weeks, Brett and myself about 155 Bitcoin. Multiply that times $2,300, guys. It's not too bad of a 6-week introduction to what we're doing. Jetcoin, we got a chance to meet one of our buddies about 12 years ago, and he's been a headhunter. He's like the administrative buddy of ours that's helped a lot of different people accomplish a lot of different things. He introduced Brent and myself. He said, "Look, guys," he said, "we already know that the top traders out there are doing some incredible numbers. There are traders and trading platforms that trade anywhere between 50% and 400% a day. And there are people that are being able to capitalize on this by joining companies like Jetcoin that can pool their efforts together. And then these companies, as they trade, they pay us every single day." Typically, when we look at companies and we do presentations, we break it down and say there's 3 things that are important when you look at a company. And we call it the 3 Ps. We say it's the product, it's the people, and it's the pay plan. Well, our product here, guys, we've already talked about it. It's Bitcoin. It's something that is spendable. It's a digital currency. It's something you own. No one can take it away from you. And it's going up over 300% here in 6 months' time. That's pretty powerful, and it's continuing to go on. So what a heck of a product story to have there. The people behind the business, you've heard from Brent, you've heard from myself. There are a variety of people behind the scenes that are all anonymous. And, many people say, "Well, I need to really know who they are." Well, you know what? Let me ask you a question. What if you own a $1 billion trading company? Maybe you had a family, maybe you have children. What do you think it would feel like if your name was out there and everybody in the world wanted to call and ask you a question, or everyone in the world wanted to call and speak to you, or maybe even worse, maybe someone wanted to do something harmful to your family? You see, that's the reason that people stay anonymous when it comes to big bucks like that. And for some people, some of them get it, and it's okay, and it's for some people they don't. One of the things that we found out, if you're not willing to take a chance in life in certain areas, a lot of times you don't make any money. I've been in the motorcycle business for about 25 years. I had family members and even personal friends of mine, even though I've been racing in the past and rode every kind of motorcycle, told me I was crazy and I shouldn't go out on the limb and do it. You know what? It's been a very good business for my wife and I for the last 25 years. Networking and home-based business is the same way for many other people. Maybe you do it before you're crazy and you shouldn't do it. You know what? We've made several millions of dollars because of the home-based business industry. And when we find a hot trend, that's when you want to strike. You want to strike when the iron is hot. And there's nothing hotter right now than cryptocurrency anywhere in the world. One of the crazy things here just a couple of days ago, the CEO of PayPal went on public record and said that he thinks that Bitcoin itself will be worth between $500,000 and $1 million per coin in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, but again, you start looking at the Bill Gates, you start looking at the Steve Forbes and these powerful, rich people out there that are following the trends and spending billions of dollars on infrastructures, that's when it's time to start paying attention. So we always say, it's not Rick and Scott that's saying this. These are the rich guys. We've already watched it happen, 2 or 3 of the different predictions that they've made. We know it's going to happen again. So at the end of the day, how would you like to be able to gather some Bitcoin? If you just had 100 Bitcoin at the end of this year, and Bitcoin hits $10,000 per coin, you know what? That's $1 million. What if you had a 2 or 3 or 500? What if you could gather 1,000 Bitcoin between now and the end of next year, and Bitcoin hits 20,000? You see, guys, this is going to change the life of many people. There are what we call average people or middle-class people that would like to take their life to a different level, and they just don't have an opportunity to do so. We do have an opportunity here with Jetcoin to change our lives. How would you like to be able to do 4% or 5% every single day on your Bitcoin? How would you like to be able to know that whatever amount you put in, whether you would like to start at 10% of a Bitcoin, which right now is around $230, or you can have an account that the maximum in one account is 8 Bitcoin. If you put 8 Bitcoin in, guys, it's what me and Brent did. We wanted to test the waters, and you know what? You put 8 Bitcoin in, you earn 5% a day. That's about $1,000 a day that goes into your pocket, even if you don't tell anyone. You see, the thing about Jetcoin is they pay you even if you don't recruit. It's pretty powerful because most people are not used to getting paid if they don't go out and tell someone something. But here's something else that's really powerful for you guys that's already been in the crypto world. How would you like to have 25% pay in a binary compensation plan? That's what we have here. Guys, we all build 2 teams. We have a left team and a right team. And as the volume comes through, we get paid. Here's the most powerful part for me. I live in Alabama. My internet is very slow. My phone connections aren't always the best. But I told Brent, of all the different companies that we've participated with and that we've been passive in, I said, I've never seen a website that attached to the Bitcoin so fast. I had one guy the other day, I told him, I said, you're not going to believe this. Just as quick as you hit send, it gets there. The computer knows the software of the blockchain wallets, and it pulls it in directly. It automatically lets us open our accounts as soon as we do that. Well, this guy goes, well, you know what? That's probably just a promo, and it really hadn't got there yet. The second part of it, then, if that's what you want to think, at 12 o'clock Eastern time, every single night, 7 nights a week, Jetcoin is going to cash out and send everyone their money. You see, if you come in at 8 Bitcoin or 4 Bitcoin, you earn 5% a day. If you come in at 2 Bitcoin or less, then it's 4% a day. And what happens at 12 o'clock, guys, when that program switches, the website does not go down. It stays up. And if you've got your blockchain wallet open at the very same time, you're going to hear a beep. One of our buddies called us the other night, and he said, you're not going to believe this. He said, I just made $9,700 my first day. And I said, well, that's cool. He said, no. He said, that's not even the cool part. He said, as soon as it clicked, I watched the timer go down. He said, the money was automatically deposited in my blockchain wallet. So, guys, that's the story I told the gentleman that was a doubting Thomas to start with. He could not believe it. Needless to say, he is part of our Jetcoin team now. And we have a variety of stories like this. It's just really incredible that we are hearing the happy voices. People are excited. People are fired up. And the nice thing is, you don't have to be under pressure over here. Because when you start seeing this happen, you go, wow, I'm getting paid without telling people. Then you start telling people, and the next thing you know, every single day is like boom, boom, boom. Brent and myself got a chance for the last 2 or 3 months to be behind the scenes, watching the things that were going on, helping make some suggestions to the guys. And we've been very impressed. And everybody that's seen the site is the very same way. What we always tell people, if you decide that you want to join, we encourage every single person to treat this like a multi-million-dollar business. So the first thing we tell you to do is to make sure you get you a Gmail account. We like to tell people, if you can, go get you a brand new one. It doesn't cost anything. They're free. It takes just a couple of minutes to set one up. Because wouldn't it be cool if you had one email that was set up and you never missed a company email? That's the reason we say that. Don't use a Hotmail, which I do have one of those personally. Don't use an MSN. Don't use an FBC Global. Don't even use one from your own server. You see, a lot of people say, well, why is that? Well, the main servers here with Jetcoin are based in Japan. And to me, that's a really big feather in our cap. Because if you remember a few minutes ago, we talked about Japan being the very first country that started accepting Bitcoin as a whole country. Isn't it pretty cool that we've got our platform set up in Japan? I'm telling you guys, that is a very, very smart business move, and we're tickled about it. Well, here's another thing. Since we've got servers around the world in other different locations as well, you know what? Gmail is the one that is the keen leader of communicating software on computers. So that's the reason we say get yourself a Gmail. The second thing that we tell people to do is we when you register, it's very quick. It's very simple. But the nice part that happens for a lot of people, they get in such a hurry, they click that button so fast, and sometimes they make a mistake. So take a good close look, because what it does when you join, it asks you to enter your email in there 2 different times. So make sure you look and make sure you enter the correct email. We've had some people that accidentally put a question mark at the end, or accidentally put an exclamation mark or an extra letter. And you know what happens? You're not going to get an email, and you're not going to have a code generated that's going to allow you to put your wallet address in there. So make sure your email is correct before you hit the submit button. The same thing happens with on blockchain wallets. You know, people get so anxious, and it's happened to several of our very, 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 very good friends on accident. They didn't do it on purpose, but it's time to upgrade. It's time to go send some coins in so you can upgrade your position. The very first thing we tell people to do is, even if you're planning on coming and joining us at 8 Bitcoin, don't put 8 Bitcoin in the first second that you join. Once you open your account, what we suggest doing is putting in 0.1. That's the second amount from the bottom on our program. It starts at 0.05. That position there will lock a position in for people, but it doesn't double the money. So we say put 0.1 in, and that way it doubles the money, even if you make a mistake. But see, once you put your 0.1 in, and maybe you decide you want to do what a lot of people do, and that's take a tri-pack or put additional positions in. And if you decide to do that, you can make sure everything falls in the correct order. Because here's what happened. Wouldn't it be terrible if you had 4 Bitcoin or 8 Bitcoin, and maybe you got it placed in the wrong position from where you wanted it? So do the 0.1, and then you can come back and upgrade shortly thereafter, because everything is very fast and very automatic over here. But one of the things you do is people upgrade. Also, they get in a hurry, because here's the thing with blockchain. For those of you that are familiar with blockchain, it asks you to put an address in, and then it asks you to put an amount in. Well, let's just say you're going to put 0.5 in. You know what some people do? They get in such a hurry, they might put 0.51 by accident, and it asks you to confirm the order that you're placing. You know what? They get in such a hurry, they forget to look and make sure that's the proper amount. You know, because our computer over here, what it does on our program, when you submit an amount that you want to join or maybe upgrade with, it's looking for that exact dollar amount. So if you put in 0.51 and the position that you're taking is 0.5, well, the computer's not going to find it, because it doesn't match up with the number that you sent to the address. We can have things like this corrected, but again, guys, take your time, go just a little bit slow. Everybody gets fired up and anxious. Me and Brent are just as hyper and a personality as anybody you guys will ever meet. Right now, in the last 2 days, we're running on about probably 4.5 to 5 hours sleep combined, because we've been on the phones rocking and rolling that much. And it is sometimes easy to take for granted that, oh, I pushed the button too quick, or I forgot to do that. But just make sure you do these, because these are the common mistakes that we've seen over the last 6 months that we've been dealing in the cryptocurrency market, because there is a double redundancy. Every time you click something, it asks you, are you sure this is what you want to do? So just slow down a little bit, take your time, and then that way that'll make your business go that much faster. So 1, get you a Gmail account. 2, get your first position, second position started at 0.1, and then once you do that, then you can upgrade. Then next, make sure you pay attention to the amounts in the blockchain wallet, because that is very, very powerful. Here's a couple of things that's cool. Also, let's say at the end of the time period, whether it takes you a couple of days, if you're out here working the business, or maybe you're somebody that's passive and just says, hey, you know what, I'd like to stick some Bitcoin in here so my money can double. Well, what's going to happen is you've got a progress wheel in the back office, and the progress wheel will let you know the percentage of where you are. So once it gets to the 50% mark, that means you've received back as much money as what you put in. And then the next 50% will be the additional profit that you make, which is equal to the very same amount, because your money doubles over here in either 40 days or 50 days. And here's the neat thing about that. You got 48 hours, guys, after the progress bar gets all the way up to 100%, or our little progress wheel. And when it gets to 100%, so you got 48 hours. If somebody happens to be out of town for the weekend, you don't have to panic. You can get back and do it within that 48-hour period. Here's another thing that's pretty cool that a lot of companies have not been able to do. A lot of companies, if you started, let's say, at 4 Bitcoin, and when it was time for you to renew, then you back at the 4 Bitcoin position. Well, let's say you had a family emergency, or let's say something came up and you needed to cash some of those Bitcoin in, and you needed to use those. Well, you know what? You'd be in trouble if that's something that happened to you and you had to spend those Bitcoin. With Jetcoin, you know what happens when it's time to renew? You can come back in at any position. If you started with 8 Bitcoin, that's powerful. But you know what? If you have to, when you renew, you can actually start at a lower level. You can come in at 0.1, or you can come in at 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. So that's something that we found is very powerful over here compared to some other companies that have been doing the Bitcoin trading as well. So, Brent, you know, we've got a lot of good things here. Again, we say the 3 Ps. The product over here is Bitcoin, the people behind the company. We're here to help support. We're here to help train. We're here to help do these calls. We're going to do another call Sunday night, and we'll have a full schedule that we'll have put together. We've got a PowerPoint presentation coming out shortly. We'll have a 24-hour pre-recorded webinar. Just got so many cool things that are going on over here. And in the pay plan, we've never seen anything like it. You know, we've been a part of home-based businesses that if we invited our friends or we invited some of our best buddies to do business with us, if they didn't go out and sponsor anyone, they had a crazy auto ship that came up at the end of next month, and if they bought that auto ship and they didn't tell anybody about it again, so a lot of times your friends and your family, they kind of didn't like you anymore, did they? They didn't want to talk to you because they felt like you did them an injustice. Well, guys, here, you can tell your very best friend. You can tell your mom, you can tell your dad, you can tell your sisters. You can tell anybody you want to because they're going to double their money, even if they're not successful at telling people about this opportunity. And that's one thing that's cool because we've actually been in a variety of opportunities. And one of the things that we used to tell people in training, hey, just because you love your mom and your dad, your brother and your sister, don't put them in this business because they're probably not going to do anything. You know what happens over here? Your mom and your dad, your brother, your sister, they're going to hug you and love you more after you tell them about this. Brent, I've never been more excited about anything in my life other than what Bitcoin is doing. We put our motorcycle shop on the market to sell right now. That's how fired up I am. And I've been in this business for 25 years. And I've never, ever had this kind of support that I'm also getting from my wife because she sees what's going on. And I tell you, it's nothing better than having a great accountability partner like Brent Robinson, my business partner from Michigan. Brent, I'm going to flip the call back to you, brother.
All right. Thanks a lot, Scott. Great job. And, you know, we've always talked about that through the years. To have any successful business, and Scott, myself, it's how we've always treated I have a construction business that I own. You know, Scott has a paving company, his motorcycle shop. And to have a successful business, you know, this industry that we've talked about that's really blessed us over the last 25 years is the 3 Ps. And that's what we've always looked at. You heard Scott say, we've always looked at trends, watching things that are happening, and you've got to move fast. And if you can get on the front end of those trends, there's millions of dollars to be made. And the 3 Ps, the product, the people, the pay plan over here, I mean, it's the best combination that we've ever seen. I mean, it's the most powerful compensation plan that we've ever seen. Scott, myself, over the last 25 years, have been top money earners 3 different times. All 3 were in binaries. Every one of them were in binaries. And when we saw this and the power of this binary and the speed of this, guys, I tell you what, it just doesn't get any better than this right here with Jetcoin. It's incredible what's been put together over here. I'm telling you what, we launched last Tuesday, a soft launch. Yesterday was the official launch. And we've dropped the floodgates yesterday, and it's game on. It's game on right now. We're moving, and we've got great things coming down the pipe here in the next week, 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But we're in this for the long haul. We're in this for a 2 to 3 year run right here that is going to blow away anything that's ever been out there that we've ever seen. And we're super excited about that, guys. We're going to be back here Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday night. So make sure you make your calls, get your people lined up. Make sure you tune in early because Sunday night, this line right here only holds 1,000 people. We'll be bumping that up here real soon. but just make sure you have your people called in a little bit earlier on Sunday night. So everybody have a wonderful evening.